The Nitro meeting was fingers crossed, as it was the debut of a very first event layout for the Top Fuel category. The idea of this layout was hatched to provide a fair amount of entertainment for both race evenings and minimise the sacrifice of Friday evening passes, as the usual Friday evening qualifiers were attempts to master the track throughout the evening, which was shown off as quite boring for the spectators as they would query, "Is this what Top Fuel is?" But to the surprise and expectation of management and the crowd, the Top Fuels really presented a show of oohs and ahs for both evenings. So in chronological order, let's recap Top Fuels, shall we? Friday was a night filled with explosions for Top Fuel, almost as if it was the CGI from a Michael Bay movie. The 6 o'clock single qualifying pass was mainly the expected track teething problems for the competitors, with the fastest time of a 5:12 being run by WA driver Mark Sheehan. The Top Fuels made their second appearance of the evening for round 1 of 2, with Sheehan taking the solo blazing through after a massive explosion into the B final, and Damien Harris and Phil Lamartina taking the A final. For the B final, Sheehan once again was set alight, which became a common theme for his team that weekend. Then it was time for the A final, which was a ripper of a race taken out by the Carrot Man, who ran a quick 4.73 against Harris's 4.77, which rounded up Friday's Top Fuel passes. As the sun began to rise and set once again, part 2 of Top Fuel was set to begin. This second time around, Top Fuels had a reasonable grip of the track compared to their first appearance, with qualifying times ranging from 5.16 to 5.95. With the qualifiers set, it was time to begin eliminations. Darren Morgan claimed his B final on the top qualifier solo, rolling through the traps at a 6.9 after throwing a blower belt mid-track. Alan Dobson was then cut short by the inferno in the rear of his car at the launch and was conquered by Harris, who ran a not too shabby 5.12. Although Dobson's inferno was a sight to see, nothing had beaten the catastrophe that began to unfold at the ignition of Sheehan's dragster. A fuel line had begun flooding out very flammable nitromethane before Sheehan flicked the switch, but before anyone could stop him, the car ignited and the fuel caught alight. Luckily, no one was injured by this freak accident. The Andrew Stewart gave it a solemn finger to turn the pass into the solo, and the Carrot King caught the opportunity and ran a 4.85, and catching slightly alight as he crossed the 1,000 foot mark. The regular Top Fuel events led on to the rematch of Lamartina and Harris in the A final, and Morgan making a solo pass in the B final. Lamartina took the win running a 5.494 at 177 mph, who led off just after half track against Harris, who hastened tyres at 60 foot. Then the B final of Darren Morgan consisted of stabs at the throttle and tyre smoke, which concluded the weekend of Top Fuel, but certainly not Group 2 and 3. Comp Bike saw Ross Smith take the win over legend Neil Anderson, running an 8.87 on a 9.04 class handicap. Modified bike was another breakout situation when Paul McNamara ran faster than his dial-in of a 10.45 and handed the win over to his opponent, David Waters. The Nitro Max meeting was the event where Andrew Cadavardis in Supercomp claimed his hat-trick of wins, running a 7.15 on his 7.72 class handicap against Alan Puglia. And I must mention, the entertainment value of commentator and modified racer Michelle Adamos' victory dance after seeing her other half take the win. Priceless. Super Sedan was a tightly run final matching Peter Giles against Martin Marco. Although Peter Giles ran a magnificent pass of running an 8.393 after dialing an 8.38, it wasn't enough to beat Marco, who ran a 9.23 on a 9.21 dial-in and pulled a killer 0.18 reaction time. Super Street was another tightly run final, seeing Nicholas Rowe break out by the reoccurring 1/10 and run a 11.01, but still take the win against John Solich, who broke out by 7/10 and ran an 11.11. Top Comp's B final was taken by Wayne Keys, who ran a 5.99 but was uncontested after Glasby had some unexplained starline issue. The A final was a matchup against Al McClure and Rob Pilkington. Al ran an excellent 6.54 but was beat by the skin of his teeth as Pilkington crossed the finish line by what appeared to just be a nose past the hillbilly, running a mental 5.68 at 252 mph. That concludes the Match Together meeting report from Nitro Max. The content will surely continue to grow after us at DNA TV get over some track teething of our own. I'm Lucas Gardner. Until next time, go hard or go home.